This is BSA by Design, a podcast about transforming healthcare, educational, and research facilities through expert design and insight. I'm your host, Brian Moore. In this episode, we'll spend some time with Adam Chahulski talking about BSA's newest location in Charlotte, North Carolina. Adam is a principal at BSA and our Charlotte studio director. A graduate of Kent State University, Adam is lead AP and NCARB certified and a member of AIA. Welcome to the show, Adam.
Hi, thanks, Brian. Appreciate you having me on.
This is great. I'm excited to talk to you today about yourself, about our new studio in Charlotte, and a lot of the team. But as a first-time guest, I've got to start out by finding, how did you become an architect? Where does your passion come from? Take me back to how and why you decided to do what you do.
Yeah, I guess stop me if you heard this answer before, but like many young kids, my love for architecture started with Lego.
Oh my God.
Whether building from a kit of parts or a free build, I think it was my creative outlook. I wasn't very artistic when I was a kid. And it really started my curiosity of how buildings can come together. Being out, just looking at structures, wondering how they came together really piqued my curiosity. And whether that was like an airport, stadiums, or hospitals as examples, that's where I think my love started. And as I kind of continued on in school, I remember in 7th grade, we were working with our guidance counselors on what would you like to major in college. And I think I put as answers 1 and 2 architecture. And so it kind of had been this consistent theme all throughout my childhood and school. And even in high school, I took various jobs in the construction industry just to kind of fuel my curiosity about the built environment, and started looking at architectural colleges early on in high school. And the rest is just kind of history from there. And the funny thing now is that now that I specialize in like healthcare as an example, and I've got young children that are also into Lego, they're asking some of those same questions. And so I can help answer some of those curiosities for them.
You are definitely probably the 5th or 6th person that has said on the show that it started from Legos. And I don't know if you've heard this before. I always say my 17-year-old, who's a junior in high school, still loves Legos, puts them together. He's a big football player, but he and his buddies, they like talk about the newest ones that they're going to get. And every time he wants to study forensic science in college. And I'm like, are you sure? Because all these people I work with say that if you're into Legos, you'd be a really good architect, And he's like, no, that's not really for me. So there's hope that maybe that'll turn around at some point.
Absolutely.
Well, you joined BSA, I don't know, within, let's say, the last 6 months. What made you decide to join the firm?
Yeah, it's hard to believe that I've been here that long already. Time flies, having fun, I guess. When I sought a shift in my architectural career, I wanted to be very intentional on the type of firm I was looking to join. Given my 20 years in the healthcare industry, staying with my subject matter expertise was kind of a non-starting point for me. And since BSA's presence in the healing, learning, and discovery markets, that made that a very easy box to check. But aside from that, a really close second was a firm's mission, their core values, and how that could resonate across a firm culturally. And so BSA's core values are: we are partners, we are purposeful, we are learners, we are owners, and we are ideal team players. And that really caught my attention. And I could start to, even before talking with anybody, envision how those 5 core values can be part of an organization's DNA. And as I began the interview process, even meeting you in some of my interviews, I quickly learned that everyone that I spoke with embodied these core values. And you fast forward 6 months to where I am now, and I've really gotten to witness that our core values are what gives our team purpose to create the inspired solutions that improve lives. And so, of course, there's a lot more things downstream of that. But for me, when you find that alignment culturally, everything seems to be a little bit easier to solve and figure out.
Absolutely. I feel like, obviously, I can say we felt that same thing from you when we were talking to you as well. And I try to tell people all the time, it really is a big deal around here. We want a culture fit, but you get to be lucky and you choose who you work with, so that's a really neat thing. Just in the last month, Charlotte has become BSA's newest studio, joining Indy, St. Louis, Raleigh, Austin, Denver, and Tampa. What makes Charlotte an attractive market to you right now?
Yeah, so I'll kind of make this a kind of a personal and kind of a
Sure.
business economics
Yeah.
thing. I think, I'm not originally from Charlotte. I moved here a little over 20 years ago from the Midwest once I graduated college. For me personally, what made Charlotte an attractive market was the growth is experiencing at the time, as well as some of the exciting architectural projects that were being designed and constructed. And of course, coming from the Midwest, the warmer seasonal weather
Yeah.
is always a positive. And if you kind of fast forward, that the growth remains constant, if not even accelerated from the point that I moved down here. And, depending on the rankings that you look at, Charlotte is now one of the 15 largest cities in the United
Mhm.
States.
Yeah.
From an economy standpoint, we've always been anchored around that financial industry. But in recent years, Charlotte's also seen growth in a lot of other sectors, many of which BSA serves, including some of the larger health systems in the Southeast and maybe even US for that matter, and more investment in the technology and research industry. And so if you kind of look out over the next 5 to 10 years, the growth is going to continue to be strong. And we expect a lot of new businesses to plant their roots here or existing businesses to expand in order to meet all of the community growth that we're seeing. So I think there's a lot of great things going on in Charlotte and really excited that we're able to plant our flag here to continue to serve our clients.
And what for you has been maybe the most exciting part about building a new team for the Charlotte studio?
For me, I've always had a little bit of an entrepreneurial spirit in my professional career. So launching a new studio for BSA in and of itself has been an exciting part for me. It's kind of an easy answer, but it brings a mix of anticipation, opportunity centered around building a team, finding a studio space, identifying clients to pursue, and ways to get BSA involved in the community. As new team members join our Charlotte studio, their excitement and their passion are going to
Mhm.
continue to fuel all of the positive momentum we have here in Charlotte. And of course, all of that ladders up to the amazing things that BSA is doing and has accomplished in the past year or couple of years. We were recently ranked number 10 in modern healthcare for largest architectural firms, received multiple fastest growing firm awards. I think just last month it was number 9 in BD&C's higher education ranking, and kind of the list goes on. And so really the excitement permeates throughout the firm, and to be a part of the firm's growth is just truly humbling.
Well, you mentioned community. How are you approaching local partnerships and community engagement?
Yeah. I think we kind of build off of the chassis that BSA has already created. I think we approach local partnerships by building on the previous relationships that BSA and myself has. We have a Raleigh studio right down the road, so
Yeah.
the Carolinas aren't too unfamiliar for BSA. And many of the relationships we have are similar organizationally from core values. And so, like I mentioned earlier, Charlotte's a growing community that is bringing new businesses to the region every month. So continue to expand our network is going to be important to keep up with the demand of our projects and our clients. Similar to businesses, there's a growing amount of local organizations and community partners we'll look to get involved with and support. We'll look to identify organizations that support initiatives around our clients, the AE industry, or any of our employees' passions, really. I think that's what's unique about BSA is that kind of the people and their culture kind of drive a lot of the
Mhm.
things that we do.
Yeah.
And as an organization, we encourage all employees to actively support organizations and charities. We even allocate time every year to participate in charities, as well as donating to charities that employees continually support. So it's kind of baked into our roots of who we are as a firm. And we're just really excited to promote BSA to the local community and make positive impacts here in Charlotte.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about project work. I know you've got a healthcare background. We've mentioned the three primary markets of healing, learning, and discovery. What types of projects are you most excited to pursue in the Charlotte area?
Yeah, so I'm going to zoom out a little bit here and talk a little bit of the
Yeah.
macro, and then of course I'll get into the micro. But
Sure.
our goal for the Charlotte studio is to build a presence that represents an opportunity to shape the future of BSA's work across the healing, learning, and discovery markets, like you mentioned. And that's further supported in delivering exceptional projects throughout our integrated team of architects, engineers, planners, and interior designers. We're a unique, multidisciplinary firm, and obviously my focus is healthcare, and I'm extremely excited to pursue those projects in Charlotte and the surrounding region. But kind of going back to my entrepreneurial spirit, I look forward to working with all of our BSA team members to grow all aspects of our practices here in Charlotte. And with Charlotte being so close geographically to South Carolina, it really allows us to promote our growth across all of the Carolinas, not just Charlotte. And I guess if you really wanted to press me on the question, I really love intricate, complicated projects that challenge the entire team to think outside the box, color outside the lines, and
Mm.
create innovative and thoughtful solutions for our clients. And I think that's really what makes this profession so unique. Going back to why I chose it, is that every day is a new challenge, every day is a new opportunity, and getting to work with a team is just it's an invigorating process for me.
What's your approach to your client relationships and how you treat certain projects, or what do you like to work with?
Yeah, I think I just try to be even or don't have highs and lows. And I think so
Right.
that it creates this kind of calming effect where even when things are crazy or super exciting, people can kind of look to me and see that everything's moving along just fine. And for me, it's all about people and relationships. And so over the years, I've found that to be, I think, my success, just connecting with people. And while this is a business and we're all here to do work, I think that's the part. If you find, like I mentioned earlier, the fun in
Yeah.
things, I think you gotta have the right amount of that, and also the right amount of seriousness to be successful.
So you've been here a while and you've gotten to know Tim Bashi and a lot of our design principles. How does BSA's design philosophy translate to specific needs of the Charlotte region?
Yeah. So Charlotte's a progressive city. It's a melting pot of people and culture, and we're going to continue to evolve as we grow. And some projections have Charlotte being north of 4.5 million residents by 2050, which is
Wow.
just crazy to wrap my head around.
Right.
And I guess where I'm going with all this is that the design needs of a city and our clients are also going to evolve. But one thing to me remains constant, and that one thing is people. And so our firm's philosophy is to create inspired solutions that improve lives. Our designs respond to people, and we're guided by human-centered design to create with empathy and purpose. And it's just a kind of roundabout way to answer your question, whether Charlotte or any other city, BSA is positioned to meet the strategic needs of any region because we're aligned with people. And that's why we've been so successful and have so many partnerships across the United States, because we're able to adapt to all of the different cities' unique cultures and strategies and regional aesthetics.
Yeah, and I would say something I've noticed even from the outside, being a marketing person, is just we don't come in with here's your answer to clients all over the country in different places, right? It's let's absorb what you're trying to solve and come up with multiple solutions, one of which we hope will work the best for you. But it's not this we have a product in a box and you're going to take it and like it. It is a much more engaged approach to working with our clients that I find to be satisfying. Just even being on my end, people try to shove even marketing stuff down my throat, and you're like, you don't even know me. You don't know what I'm looking for, and
Yeah, and that goes back. We are ideal team players as part of our core values, where it talks about being humble. And to your point, is we're not there to push design solutions on clients. It is through our innovation framework. It is a two-way conversation where we really can kind of bring the right solution to all of our clients without ego.
let's shift a little bit to talk about how you plan or to balance bringing BSA's established expertise while staying responsive to those local needs. How do you think BSA is well suited to the challenges and the opportunities in Charlotte?
Yeah, so some of the things are what we just talked about a little bit, but I think what sets us apart is our adaptive approach to each client's unique needs, rather than forcing the one size fits all
Right.
solution. One way we do this is through promoting our local leadership and national expertise that brings experts to the table to collaborate seamlessly with our teams, and we scale our teams to respond to each project need. So it's never a copy paste process. This allows us to be agile and nimble to ensure we remain responsive to all of our clients' needs. Additionally, our Charlotte team of 5+ people are further supported by our neighboring Raleigh studio, which boasts another 35+ colleagues. And I think it's important to note that in a lot of our conversations, intentionality and strategy went into how either of our studios can be complementary to one another to serve the Carolinas. So as we continue to grow and seek our footing here, we're certainly not alone. And with regards to the opportunities and challenges in Charlotte, sometimes a remedy to either of those things is scalability. Similar to Charlotte, BSA is growing as a company, as a local presence, and we plan on growing to meet the needs of our clients. So on a micro level, the sectors BSA supports is where Charlotte has seen some of the largest growth. And we bring 50 years of history supporting these sectors. So we've seen a lot of things and have learned a lot of things over that time. which makes us even more well suited to take on the challenge and opportunities of our region.
So you've been here a little while in order to see, as we've mentioned a few times, local leadership, national expertise, and we say that a lot. I know there's oftentimes we'll work with clients that want to know that local people are working on their project, and I know we try to make that happen a lot. But the benefit I feel like for our studios is they're not set up as profit centers. We're all one BSA working together. The interesting thing that I've seen is when project work can ebb and flow across the studios, we've got, for example, engineers from Denver working on projects in Texas and in Indiana and North Carolina, and vice versa with the architects as well. So do you find that a model that is appealing to clients?
I do. I mean, as you mentioned it, a lot of clients want to know that you have the local presence for when things come up on a project. You can react quickly, be there on site. But I think really what clients are searching for are subject matter experts, and they want people or firms that have performed the type of projects they're seeking designs on to have done that before, to have experienced that before. And so to be able to bring in resources from any one of our now 7 studios, I think is a huge differentiator for BSA, including selfishly on the healing side, where we can bring operational planning. We've got Wendy and TJ on our staff and can help clients really, when a lot of times you're creating business plans for new ambulatory surgical centers or even urgent cares. And so a lot of times staff aren't in place for those facilities that we're designing around. So to bring someone like a TJ and a Wendy to those meetings and help them guide that operational process is a huge advantage to be able to bring to our clients. So yeah, I agree. I think it's definitely a model, and it's been very successful for us at BSA.
Let's go there a little bit, a little less region specific, same kind of thought that you were just touching on. What are some trends that you're seeing right now in healthcare architecture that you're most excited about?
Yeah, so I am excited about a lot of things. And this question always keeps me on my toes because trends in healthcare design are constantly evolving. Whether it's advancements in technology, patient needs, delivery of care, or changes to the reimbursement and regulatory requirements.
Mm-hmm.
We're always pushing to stay at the forefront of these things. And I guess for me specifically, I'm interested in patient-centered design, community integration, and scalable design solutions. And what do those things mean? It means we're designing spaces that are flexible, comfortable, and supporting the well-being of patients. It means we're working with health systems to bring access of care closer to patients and eliminating health deserts. And it means we're designing spaces that consider prefab, scalability, and standardization to help our clients minimize first costs to combat all of the financial strains that they're experiencing in our ever-changing delivery of care.
That's really good. I like that. How do you, I'm always interested on this take because AI is so top of the mind right now, but how do you see AI integrating into some of those things?
I think AI is going to help push our design and drive our design. It certainly won't be a crutch, and it's something that we absolutely need to embrace and have it be a part of our process. I think in the end, especially as we talk about things like healthcare design, there's a lot of things that's even changing in the delivery of care. Hospitals are implementing AI as well, even down to how they discharge patients to get a quicker process that's there. So I think understanding it, being on the forefront of it, and understanding how our clients use it is going to be hugely, hugely important because it is going to change the way that we design in order to respond to some of their needs.
Well, this has been great, Adam. I can't wait to have you back on the show again as the BSA studio in Charlotte evolves and matures over time, and talk to some of the team members there about their expertise as well. So thanks for coming on. This has been great.
Thank you so much, Brian. It's been a blast having this be my first podcast, and I look to many more.
I'd like to thank Adam again for joining me on this episode of BSA by Design. You can connect with him on LinkedIn. If you want to learn about BSA or our Charlotte studio, we encourage you to visit our website at BSA Design. There's a link in the show notes to contact us for more information. Be sure to subscribe to BSA by Design on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube Music so you don't miss an episode. And be sure to check out BSA on social media, including LinkedIn and YouTube. That's going to do it for this episode. Join us again next time on BSA by Design.